A series of unfortunate events has to be one of my favorite series of books ever, and that's not just because I read it as a youngster. These books still hold up today with a superb writing style, amazing intrigue, touching mystery, just the right touch of secret society magic, and a colorful cast of characters you both like and characters you hate in a good way. And for quite some time now, the book series has been finished, but apparently there's still a pretty decent following on account of one of the newer Netflix originals showing this great story to both new audiences and no doubt fans of the books. But we also run into an issue. When I watch the TV series, I don't feel like I'm watching the events I read all those years ago. I feel like I'm watching a fan fiction that was inspired by unfortunate events, and there is a lot of reasons for that. No, I don't hate the Netflix original series, but on the other hand, I don't think the Netflix series is great, and yes, I am aware there was also a movie some time back. So without further ado, let's sink our teeth into this big mess, starting with one of my biggest gripes in the show and the movie, Violet Baudelaire.
Oh, all right.
Okay, you ready? This is Violet Baudelaire, as illustrated by Brett Hellequist, alright? Okay. This is Emily Browning. She played Violet Baudelaire in the movie. Okay? Sure, I mean, I'll take it. I mean, you can't get the casting perfect, right? This is Melina Weissman. She plays Violet Baudelaire in the Netflix series. So, already, we need to back up. This does not translate to this, or this. Look, I'm not opposed to good-looking girls at all, believe me. I like it when girls look good. I mean, I think I like it when anyone looks good. But what's more important to me than perhaps anything else is source material. Violet Baudelaire is a plain-looking girl, sometimes depicted with something of a schnoz, depending on the chapter. So what the hell happened to her? Okay, so I can understand with the movie. This is the first time there was anything of a visual adaptation to unfortunate events. And maybe Browning did some good acting. Because I think she did. I can at least give her that much credit. Her performance as Violet is quite good. But she looks nothing like her. But when I saw the movie, I excused it because the movie is awful for other reasons that we don't need to get into too much, because my point is how Violet looks in the Netflix series. Look, just stop. Look at this, okay? It looks like the caster saw the movie and was like, Violet's got some big lips, puffy cheeks, and sparkly baby eyes, and casted her based on that alone. I am no expert caster, but to me, this doesn't look like this. Please pardon my autism, but this is something that really, really bothers me. Of course, you're not going to find a one-to-one replica of Hellequist's rendition of Violet, but do we really need a girl with supermodel tier looks to play her every single time? I mean, her performance isn't bad, sure, but I can't help but feel they took this from the movie because Browning and Weissman bear some strong resemblances to each other. I mean, they could be sisters, or at least doppelgangers, a word which here means an apparition or double of a living person. What about Klaus? Klaus looks fine. Actually, no, he looks great. He looks like his illustration, pretty much. I mean, compare him to the movie version of him. Like, wow, what an improvement. Besides the obvious fact that they actually included his glasses this time, his hair, his eyes, even the way his facial construction is, it fits well with the original illustration of Klaus Baudelaire. Sunny, I mean, it's not hard to do Sunny. Get a baby. I mean, when it comes to babies, you either find them cute or you find them hideous. I think both of Sunny's renditions are beautiful and provide both innocent comic relief and surprising intellect and capability that Sunny as a character should have. So you get my A+ on Sunny. And Klaus. So on the Baudelaire Orphans, when it comes to the show, I give a 2 out of 3. By no means is Weissman a poor actress, I just can't shake the feeling that the directors and casters of the Netflix series were just infatuated with Browning's performance, a word which here means so in love with the way they performed that they decided to cast someone who fit her to the T. The term a far cry can mean a number of things. For instance, if you live in a tiny cottage and your next door neighbor has an enormous mansion, you could say that your house is a far cry from your neighbor's. Or, if you were, say, stranded in an unknown part of Africa, trying to hunt down an African warlord, arms dealer, and sick with a very life-threatening disease known as malaria, then you could say you were a far cry from civilization. Much like some of the cast of the Netflix original series is a far cry from the way they are presented in the book, or even from the movie in some rare cases. Now, we've already discussed Violet, but let's take a side character. Babs, for instance, the administrator at Heimlich Hospital. Babs is never described properly in the novel because she's never seen. She confines herself to a hidden office and communicates to everyone via the speaker. That's how the Baudelaire orphans were able to get a job there, even after Babs had read the Daily Punctilio, because she couldn't see them. By the way, the whole scene where Babs hires them, tells them to be silent because they're children, and all those beautiful things associated with such a scene is 100% absent from the series. Why? Well, I think I know why, but we'll discuss that later. So instead of being shrill, being crabby, being stern, and most important of all, being hidden from plain sight, she is watchful, nervous, anxious, and easily scared. And worst of all, she's visible. However, they did get her love of administration correct, but I would still call this a far cry from novel Babs. Carmelita Spatz, oh goodness, perhaps one of the most lovably hated characters in the series. Katana Turnbull actually did a fine job playing the most dreadful girl of Proof Rock Prep, although the way they wrote her for the TV series I'd say kind of ruins her as a character. Entirely. First of all, she's out of uniform. Oh, but what about...
He's a genius. He likes me best. I don't have to wear a uniform because I'm too adorable.
Well, this line isn't in the book, and neither is her pretty pink dress. In fact, cover art shows her wearing a uniform, just like all the other kids, and individually illustrated also shows her in a uniform, albeit in black and white, and there is a reason she calls people, mainly the Baudelaires, cake sniffers. The insult cake sniffers is attributed to the phrase, let them eat cake, a term which here means a lack of sensitivity or comprehension of the realities of the lives of the unfortunate. And the show took this literally, and I mean literally, a term which here means they literally freaking showed her sniffing a goddamn cake. Is this supposed to be funny? I mean, I guess it kind of is, but it debunks Carmelita as a character. Sure, she's crude, she's evil, and she's filthy, although you wouldn't really tell she's filthy from watching the show, but she's also quite clever. And even if she doesn't understand the connotation behind let them eat cake, the term cake sniffer is more than just a funny insult. The connotation behind the phrase let them eat cake fits exactly when it comes to the Baudelaires, or even orphans in general. It's almost irrefutable, it's a piece of the puzzle that fits right in. So why ruin it by showing her sniffing cake? These are just a few examples, and we can go all day with this sort of thing. So before we move on with characters, let me just say that Count Olaf is portrayed wonderfully. Neil Patrick Harris is a great actor. I loved him in Gone Girl, and I love him in Unfortunate Events too. I mean, he's definitely no Jim Carrey.
Where do I sign for the fortune? I mean, children.
Oh, you won't officially have guardianship until the hearing on Thursday morning.
And what am I to do with them until then?
Excuse me?
What I mean is, do you work out? You look good. Healthy, I mean.
But he plays a good Olaf. Esme Squalor, while she looks and sounds much, much different than the novels and audiobooks described her as, is also portrayed very well by Lucy Punch, especially as Officer Luciana. An amazing performance, although I would have liked it if she hid her eyes a little more like so in the books.